Today we're going to be reviewing the Jazwares Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero figure. Sub-Zero is obviously a staple of the Mortal Kombat franchise, been around since the first game, and is one of a fan favorite. I know I played him a lot when I used to play back in the day, because I'm old, and I say things like back in the day. Anyway, so as for the figure himself, it's Jazwares, which are hit or miss, and these are a little more hit than miss. It does have its flaws, which we'll go ahead and get into. To begin with, he does come with an accessory. He comes with an ice sword. I'm not going to take it out of his hand because it's kind of a pain to get in there, which is one of the downsides of the figures. So the sword it's a nice blue. It's got some frosted shading on there to make it look like it's made of ice. It is a little bent. Mine came that way out of the package. I've tried to fix it running under hot water and then cold, and it never quite took. So that's something to keep an eye out for. The reason I'm not going to take it out of his hand is I came really close to actually almost breaking the thumb trying to get it in there. It was really difficult, and I don't really want to risk it again. So that's staying there, probably until forever, I guess. As for the figure himself, he's got decent articulation, much better than I was expecting. He's got a ball head. Well, it acts more like a swivel, but it is technically a ball. There's a little bit of movement there, but most of your movement's going to be left and right. He has ball shoulders. He seems to be a little washed out. No bicep swivel, but none is needed. He has ball elbow, hinge and swivel wrist. He has a torso swivel, which the sculpt limits how far you can move it just a little bit. You see, I'm only able to get just minimal movement on that side, a little bit more on that side. He has nice hip joints here. Not quite ball, but they work really well. I don't know if I can get it to where you can see it. But they give a good range of motion. He does have a bicep swivel, or not a bicep, but a thigh swivel. He has ball knees, which again, the sculpt does limit slightly. And he has ball ankles. So this dude is basically covered from head to toe in ball joints, which is not a bad thing. It's actually one of the better things about these characters is that they actually do have a decent amount of articulation. I was very surprised with it. And, I mean, it's a very pleasant surprise, don't get me wrong. As far as the sculpt goes, generally it's good. There are some issues, and I'm not sure if this is maybe something that could have been fixed with some little better paint apps, or if it's just the sculpt itself is just not going to work. But it's a little soft in certain areas. There's not as much definition as there should be. The biggest offenders here are the shoulders, a lot of like the flesh areas. And I feel like I'm having a little too much light here and it's washing out the video. If so, I apologize. Try and get to where you can see, but it just looks almost not doughy per se, but there's just no, I mean, you look at the arm here, it's just round. There's no bicep molding really at all. It's just kind of like they're like, oh, let's just put a blob there, and that's his arm. But as for the costume and the details on the costume, they seem to do a good job. You can see here they've got decent armor going on there. You've got the wrinkles from the pants, little design on the belt and everything like that. And for the most part, they define. So again, with the face, it almost looks a little too soft is the best word that's come to me right now. But everything else I did pretty well. I'll show you the back real quick. Not a lot going on there, but... So as for paint, generally okay. You can see there's a couple spots that got missed, and there's a blue blob on his head. But those are kind of the exception rather than the rule. You got some flesh tone here. So there is going to be some slop, but it's not distracting, and it could be worse. Maybe I just got unlucky and I got one that just wasn't painted very well. That's a possibility. Give them the benefit of the doubt on this one. So, yeah. Go ahead and put them back. These guys are 6-inch scale, which means they'll fit in well with your Marvel Legends, your DC Universe Classics, so forth and so on. Throw Iron Man up there next to him so you can kind of get an idea. It's actually, if I stand him up 100%, he's a little bit shorter than Iron Man, but not terribly so. So he's, it's a decent fit with your 6-inch figures. If you collect that scale, get them. They're fun. They're good toys. Like I said, it's not without its flaws. The accessories being really hard to fit in there, the sculpt being a little doughy and soft looking, the paint apps being a little, could be better. There's not a lot of highlighting. It looks like they just applied one color. I guess I should have mentioned that earlier. So they're going to cost you $14.99 at Toys R Us. You can also find them at places like FYE, and they'll probably cost you about $1 to $2 more there. The review's running a little long, and I really don't have too much else to say about them. So there you have it. This is the Jazwares Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero. Hope you enjoyed.